the next thing is the action menu, or sorry, the status menu. Status menu is not really a way for you to communicate with your team, but for you to ascertain what is going on with your team. So if I go to the status menu, number one, it says call support. Call support for a team leader is essentially if there is a medic, an ambulance, repair truck, rearm truck, refuel truck, you can call for that resource to come to your location, your grid coordinates, if you will, and provide you support. So I can actually demonstrate that in this. What I will do is, in order to have that call support command work, I don't want to put something where the AI pathfinding will screw me over. So it's hit or miss sometimes with the AI. What I'll do is I'll put the British don't have a support unit, so I'll put an American Humvee ambulance. Right? So here's a Humvee ambulance, and in order for it to actually, oops, in order for it to support me, I need to actually give it a support waypoint. So when I give it a support waypoint, basically all it will do is it will stand by at this location until I call for support. And I think what I want to do is, if I can make another team somewhere else. Okay, let's make one in up here. I'm going to put some teams around. I just want to show you how the support works. After the support is completed, it will go back to supporting additional units, which is actually the really interesting thing about it. It's a really good thing about it, actually. Not interesting thing, really good thing about it. So it's either like different teams calling for support. So I'll just copy and paste this around. I'll make this playable. And the idea is that I should be able to team switch into this individual team leader. If my idea has worked correctly, I'll put another. I'm trying to put units close by so the AI pathfinding doesn't get messed up. So I'll put another team in this town. So we got about 3 teams. I got my original team that I started off with, and I got like these 3 teams over here. I'll make him playable. Alright. So I'll start off here and I can switch different teams. So what I'll do is, and I'll put a team over here just to show you what the AI unit is doing. Playable. Actually player. Because I actually want to show you what the AI does. And I'll make this playable. And I hope I can switch into these different these different teams as a leader. So let's see. Okay, so what I'm trying to show here is the support ability of this game, and essentially the AI, when given a support waypoint in a support vehicle or a support capacity, essentially to repair, refuel, rearm, or to provide medical attention to, they can be used as such, provided that the mission maker adds that element in there. In some of the standard missions, there is that element in there, especially if you're like in a tank. Sometimes there's an ability to call for a repair truck. So what I'm going to show is the ability to call for a ambulance in this case, specifically a Humvee ambulance. And I'll show you how the support function works. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and use a team switch to switch over to this team near the ambulance. So now I'm this team leader near this medical striker. And my LOD detail isn't that great, but there you go. There's the striker. As you can see, when I gave the striker a support waypoint, what happens is the crew of the striker, which is only one crewman, disembarks the striker and waits until he's basically called to be needed. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. I'm going to call for a ambulance. I'm going to go call support and then option number 2, which is an ambulance. Because if I call for a medic, which I'll show you right now what happens, since he's not a medic, he's a crewman, he will not come. See, because there was no medic available for the support request to be answered, the game automatically sends a negative response pretty quickly. When I ask for an ambulance, the game will take some time to give a response, but it will give a response saying that they are on their way, or that they've received my call and they're en route. Yeah, they will say Oscar Mike. Oscar Mike is military terminology for on the move. So as you can see, the crewman is actually boarding the um, striker, the medical striker, and he's on his way over to me right now. And he comes to your grid position and stops right at you. So if you're in a vehicle, you can pretty quickly uh, use the support features and things. So you'd come to the back of here and get healed if you were injured or in any way, which I'm not right now. But okay, let's say you've called for support and you're done with the support. What you would do then is initiate 5 again to the call support menu, and then say 6, which is done. And the guy, your character will say he's ready. That essentially tells the support, the unit providing support, that the support function uh, is completed, and he can basically go back into a, if you will, pool of available units to call support upon. However, if I switch teams, I think it already does that because it basically negates the support call that I asked for. But if I didn't say ready, essentially if anyone else called for support, in this case a ambulance to come support them, the game would determine that there is no available ambulance because this one's already being used to provide support to my team. So because I said I'm ready, I'll switch to another team. And I will call for an ambulance. So I'll switch to this team. Alright, so I switched to this team over here, and I will go ahead and call for an ambulance now. So I went ahead and called for an ambulance, and they're saying they're Oscar Mike. Now, depending on how far away you are from the unit giving support, wherever the support unit is staged at, the staging location for that unit will be the estimated time of arrival to arrive at your position. Unfortunately, the game doesn't tell you, like, they don't tell you estimated time of arrival is XYZ. It's just you wait until they come there. So it may take a while for them to arrive there. The best thing to do is stay within that grid coordinate and wait for them. Because if you don't stay in that grid coordinate and wait for them, then they'll arrive at that grid and you won't be around there. So actually right now he's coming here pretty quickly. He's on the road. I can see him. So he should be here anytime soon. Yeah, he's going to be here momentarily. So the next thing I want to talk about is after he arrives here. I tried a few demo scenarios with this support function. Apparently, if any other units are grouped into this support function, it will not work. This is only for individual support units. So if I had this medical striker and ambulance striker paired together in a group, and I gave them one support waypoint for the leader, the group leader, which would be this guy, only this medical striker shows up. Despite, even if the medical striker is in use, it shows the whole group is in use and the other units don't come. So basically, you have to have each of these units um, separate to be useful. For instance, if I had this grouped up with any other unit that offers support, say like a medical ambulance or a Humvee or a uh, resupply truck, such as like an ammunition truck or a uh, repair truck or whatever. If I grouped it with anything else in the same group, so the hierarchy is like they would be subordinates under this guy. This unit would be the only unit showing up all the time. This medical striker. So that's a bit of a limitation to this system. So I'll go ahead and end the scenario, and I'll place two groups. And what I will do is place a. In this case, I want to show you how the medical air evacuation would work if you were to use that. It's not really a. I'm sorry, I misspoke. It's not really an air evacuation like a medevac. It is a basically just like an ambulance function. You can heal out this helicopter if it comes to you. Is basically what it is. So I will put that, and I will put a ammunition truck also. Actually, a repair truck, because a repair truck is used quite often. Okay, so we have these three units here. They're not grouped together, so they're not under the same hierarchy, and they both have three different support um, waypoints and function. And actually, I'm going to put the helicopter at the airfield just to make it a little more um, realistic, I suppose you could say. So the helicopter's here at the airfield. Alright, and these guys will be here. So I have the repair truck and the ambulance striker here. If I put a medic, I can put a medic here also, which is what I'll do. So when you call for a medic will actually show up. And if you put it in the medic's group of vehicle, he'll jump in the vehicle and show up there, I think. So let's try that. It will be men, and then you want medic. Actually, the British have medics also, so I can put a men under the British. Since we are playing, I am playing as the British right now. It'd be more wise to have a British medic come over to me. Okay, so British medic, and I'm going to group him with a British vehicle. I tell you what, I'll group him with an ATV. That will be interesting, I think. So he'll be a British medic on an ATV. And I think the ATV has two spots on it. I'm pretty. Actually, maybe not. I don't know. Well, let me see. Excuse me. All right, so I'll go ahead and switch over to the other team just to see how that support area is. So these are the two trucks. Okay, this is the Stryker medical evacuation vehicle. MEV is that, and MTVR repair. What happens is they disembark from these vehicles and they get on foot, and they maintain a formation with their group leader, which they don't have. This is the medic, who is a British dude, and this is a. Huh? Did I put two medics down there? Oh, sorry. This is a rifleman from the ATV, and this is a British medic, and this is the ATV. I don't know if two people can get onto the ATV. Let me check real quick. Because the idea is, because I grouped the medic who has a support waypoint with a vehicle in his group, if he's given a position that is far away, he should board the vehicle automatically and come to you. So that's the idea I'm working on right now. So I'll go ahead and board this, it will get, okay, as driver and ride and back. Okay, so there is two positions on the ATV. So what I'll go ahead and do now is restart, okay, and I will call to me over here the medic, and I'm quite a distance away, so you should be able to have the medic come on the ATV. So I'll call for a medic, and because the helicopter, which is a ambulance, is what it's defined as, and not a medic, and the medical striker are both classified as like an ambulance, and so is the ambulance Humvee. Those will not appear, but the British medic should come to me. Um, and then on the other teams, I'll call for different types of support. So in theory, the medic should appear on an ATV coming towards me. And pull out the rangefinder. He should probably come down this road, I suppose. Yeah, that's the road he should come down. There he is. Oh wow, that worked. Pretty cool. So here's my gallant medic coming here to heal me on ATV, which is pretty awesome actually. And essentially, if you gave them any vehicle, they would use that vehicle. Uh, so if I gave them a Land Rover, they would come in a Land Rover. But I gave him an ATV just for grins, and he's coming over here on an ATV. So let's say one of us are injured, and medic comes here on an ATV, and he hops out. Um, Essentially, the medic is, I think, piggybacking off of the rifleman who's operating the ATV. Yeah, see, they both get out. The medic, the medic here, this is the medic, would then be able to heal anyone. All you do is walk up to the medic, and he'd automatically heal you, or he'd come near you and heal you if you were hurt. So I'll go ahead and say I'm done with that support. So go ahead and say 516. Okay. And what I will do now is, see, some of these functions in the game are actually rather complex the more you think about it and the more you play around with them. And I'm learning some new stuff as I go along also. Like I wasn't too sure to expect whether or not that medic to come or not when I placed that vehicle in his group. But I'm quite pleasantly surprised that he did actually come with that ATV. So what I will go ahead and do is switch to a group far away and have the helicopter come. Actually, I think it sends the closest support unit to you. So what I'll do is I'll switch to this one and have the medical striker come over to you. And then I will have the helicopter, which is my goal is to have that helicopter come because I want to show you how the helicopter works. So I'll call for the striker to 5-1 and then call for an ambulance. And I should see when he says Oscar Mike that crew member is actually boarding that striker, which right now it doesn't appear so. It looks like the helicopter is actually on its way. Yep, the helicopter's on its way. Right, so bit of a surprise to be honest. I was hoping that the striker, being the closest support unit, would be on its way, but perhaps it's a bigger priority that the helicopter would come. It's faster and alright, so the helicopter is on its way over here. It's about 500 meters away. What it's going to do essentially is trying to find a safe, not a safe spot to land, but essentially a plausible landing area, LZ, for it to land at near my position. And it may be, it's usually not more than 500 meters away. And it looks like actually it's coming down right on top of me. So it's landing right near me. Or not actually. Kind of looked like he was going to land over here, but he's landing near that town. He's about 100 meters away. And essentially he finds an area to land at, and you would meet him there. So he found an area to land at. And he's landed over there. So what I'll go ahead and do now is switch over to another team and call for an ambulance, and hopefully that striker will show up. Since the Actually, you know what happens is every time I switch a team, the AI, when I leave the team member of the last team I was in, the AI automatically sets that um, support request to be nullified. Essentially, they cancel the support request by saying they're ready. So every time I switch and the support request is active, he automatically says he's ready because he doesn't have a need for an ambulance or a medic or what have you. So probably, yeah, see, the helicopter's coming to this position now. I was trying to see if you had one support vehicle that was unavailable because it was already on a support mission and another one was available to see how the support function would work. And actually, see, he comes near you, he flies over you, and then he goes and tries to find a safe landing zone for him to land at. And this one is about farther away, actually. It's about 300 meters away. It's quite a trek over there. So the support function is mainly useful in single player environment where you're essentially commanding a squad, and the most usefulness of the support function is when you want to call for a medic and you don't have one in your team, or you're in a vehicle detachment like a warrior, or a uh, the vehicle is either damaged or what have you, and as he after he lands, he shuts his engine off. Um, Essentially, um, the most useful functions I find for the support function is the use of calling for a medic who's not in your team to come to a grid location to heal a team member of yours or yourself, and also for like repair vehicles and things. I honestly have not used the ambulance function too much, and most of these functions they rely upon the mission having them, and most missions just don't have them. Um, in a multiplayer environment, sometimes this support function gets glitched, and I know from past playing Operation Flashpoint and ARMA, sometimes we get glitched in multiplayer if you had that function, but with the AI especially. Most multiplayer games they will actually have a player as a medic, uh, or they'll have just empty vehicles lying around for you to just hop in as like a repair truck or a ambulance or what have you. Any vehicle, any support vehicle would be empty and not locked, so you could get in. So you can see the helicopters there. What I'll go ahead and call for now is a ammunition truck. Say we've just been in a firefight and we pretty much are out of all our ammo, and I need ammo for my men and myself. So I will call for a rearm truck, number 4. And it doesn't actually send me one. I think probably because I still have that support function active. So what I'll do is say I'm done with that helicopter by coming here and saying done, and my guy will say ready, and then I'll go ahead and activate that next support function, which is the rearm truck, is what I want. Oh, actually, I think I put a repair truck in. Okay, yeah, I put a repair truck in. So repair truck. If I had a vehicle, actually, I can do it with a say Okay, over here, this other team. Say my Land Rover, right, was out of commission. It was damaged. Yeah, it's got a flat tire. Actually, it's got 4 flat tires. Yeah, unfortunately, my Land Rover has 4 flat tires. It's not really going anywhere. So, it's gonna need to be repaired somehow. And these are the other thing about the support function is after these guys are used, I think you see this is the medic I called it, and here's the ATV. Um, they will not go back to their staging area, if you will. I find that really just a bad idea because I'm actually EMT in real life, and um, going back to the staging area would be more useful because if you're calling them into a frontline position and you're under fire and you need a medic real bad, so you have this guy in an ATV come and he does his job. Essentially, he stays here at this grid coordinate until he is called somewhere else for supporting another team. Not really good idea on my end as far as survivability of the support units because you really just want to get into the area where you're providing support and then get out in and out as fast as you can and back to your staging area. And the staging area where I have set these guys in the beginning of the mission was around here. So really what I would have liked for the game engine to have happened was the medic who I called to come here, who was actually over here, came here, provided the support we needed, and then would actually embark back on his way over here to this staging area. I think this is done so that, you know, say you want to have them more towards the front line, then you can actually have the support units come more towards the battle areas. Although it doesn't, it makes them very vulnerable. They do have weapons they can fire back. However, their role is to support the units who are fighting. Right. So I'll go ahead and hop into this Land Rover. I'll first get my guys away from there. I don't want the possibility of that truck coming and running them over. So I'll just tell them to wait here. Stop. So I'll go ahead and hop into this Land Rover, and I'll show you that it's not going anywhere. Yeah, as you can see, the wheel is red, meaning it's... Well, I mean, it can still drive. It's just not, you know... It's got flat tires, so... Alright. So I'm going to call for a repair truck. So repair truck should be on its way. Yeah, he just said he's Oscar Mike, which means in military terminology that he is on the move. So I'll go ahead and look. He should come around that crest over there the same way that ATV came. Of course, when you ask for a support request, they have to board the vehicle because oftentimes, or actually they're always disembarked from the vehicle that is going to be the support vehicle. So they have to board the vehicle and come over to you. And there he is. He's Oscar Mike. Now the question is how he's going to orientate himself to my Land Rover, because it depends on how he orientates himself to my Land Rover if I can repair at it or not. And if the vehicle is immobilized, then you obviously cannot move your own vehicle. Oh, well, the other thing is I don't want him to hit that ATV and the medic and stuff. So he went around them. So here's the repair truck. I should be able to just by pointing my cursor at it. Okay, there we go. I'm repairing automatically. So now my vehicle's repaired. See? You move the vehicle and the tires all of a sudden popped up. Alright, so the repair truck came and repaired my Land Rover. We can go on our mission now. Right, so I'll go ahead and say ready. 5, 1, 6. And what I'll go ahead and do now is I think we're done with the support function because I think I've gone pretty in depth with it already. And basically you can call for a medic, which is not like a medical vehicle, but a medical person. Medical person as in this individual here who is a medic. So this guy would come. And if he is grouped, if he wasn't grouped at this ATV, he would come on foot because he had no other choice. He didn't have any other vehicles or uh, people at his disposal in his group. In order to group him with a vehicle, you have to actually have a vehicle, actually have a team member of his in a vehicle. So essentially, you have to you have to group him with a manned vehicle in order for him to actually use the vehicle to come over to your position. Otherwise, he'd just come on foot. So that's the medic. Is when you call for a medic, a person will come, not a vehicle, unless the medic is grouped to a vehicle. An ambulance, it will be a medical vehicle comes. There's only 3 types of medical vehicles there for the coalition. It's a Humvee ambulance, a Stryker, MEV. I think MEV stands for medical evacuation vehicle, and then there's a dust-off UH-60, which is a medical evacuation helicopter. The vehicles, they do not come with a medic. So when you request for a medic, you will not have a vehicle show up with a medic on it, unless you put a medic with a support waypoint, and then you give him an ambulance or a medical evacuation Stryker or whatever. But for just a lone medical evacuation Stryker or Humvee ambulance or whatever you will have a rifleman who is operating the vehicle show up, or a crew member who is operating the vehicle show up, or a pilot who is operating the dust-off helicopter show up, and the actual vehicle itself is where you would heal at, if you will. The next thing is the repair truck. That's self-explanatory. You repair vehicles at the repair truck. Infantry don't use a repair truck. Rearm truck, it's both for infantry and for vehicles. Refuel truck, that's again another vehicle unit. Infantry does not need fuel. They just need a rearm truck. Yeah, infantry does not need a repair truck or a refuel truck. The only trucks that infantry would use is a rearm truck. Vehicles, they use all 3. And that's pretty much it. The next function is, these are more, this status submenu is more like when you're not a team leader and you're more like conversing with your team leader. So right here, if I say status number 2, which is fuel low, if I was in a vehicle and I said fuel low, essentially I would tell my AI team leader or my team leader, if it's a human, that I'm running out of fuel. So I'm out of fuel. So what he'd do is, if there was a fuel truck available, he'd send one over. If just like how I sent this repair truck, he would call for support. Same thing with ammo low. He'd either call for an ammo truck or he'd tell you to go rearm somewhere. You can also refuel at gas stations across the country. Rearm, you can rearm at the back of any vehicle. Like this Land Rover by itself has, of course every vehicle has different gear in it, but there's a gear option at the back of this Land Rover. And you can see there's 200 round 5.56 by 45 automatic rifleman rounds. There's 10 rifle magazines. I'm sorry, not automatic rifleman rounds. Automatic rifleman ammunition. There is a Lapua Magnum, which is basically for a sniper rifle. There's 6 magazines of that. There's 2 infrared marker strobes, 5 fragmentation grenades, 3 M203 grenades, and essentially. Okay, so evidently I had to redo a certain part of this demonstration in this guide. I actually went past the hard drive limit on my hard drive, and I put a directory on another one to continue recording. But what I had shown was the support feature. It was a rather in-depth showing of the support feature, and I also went on to complete the status menu, the action menu, and the was in the combat interface. So what I will go ahead and do is just a quick synopsis of those, because really the best way you can see how it works is just to try it out in the game. Essentially, the call support menu, you can call for different types of support. They'll come to you, and they'll remain at your position until they're called to a different location for providing support there. Instead of what I had wished for them to do is to come to your location and then go back to wherever it was that they were staging at, essentially wherever they were placed on the map, would be much wiser. So you have call support. You can call for a medic, which would be an infantry medic unit. You could call for an ambulance, which would be a vehicle ambulance unit, such as like the Stryker MEV unit, the Humvee ambulance, and the Dust-Off UH-60 helicopter. You can call for a repair truck, rearm truck, a refuel truck, and then there's also done. Done is basically to tell the support unit that you have completed your mission with supporting our group. So done is used to basically put the unit back into the pool of available support units. Otherwise, um, it will basically keep the unit in a not ready status for support, and it will not be available to provide support to other friendly units. So the next one is fuel low. That's basically saying your fuel is low. Ammo low. These are all reporting if you're if you're not a leader, which uh, is really what it's more useful for is when you're not a leader, because if your fuel is low, you get as a leader you can call for support. So fuel low, ammo low. Um, Fuel low, your fuel is low in a vehicle. Ammo low, it can be either for a vehicle or for your own infantry soldier, your own character soldier. Basically, when your ammunition is either low or out. Injured, uh, injured basically means you're hurt. Uh, report status. If I come here, I can ask for everyone to report their status, and they'll give me their grid coordinates. Um, I'm under fire. I'm under fire means exactly that. I'm taking fire from somewhere. I don't know where. And the AI, I don't know if it actually does anything. It seems to be more like an informative thing than anything else. So I'm under fire. Just says that I'm taking fire. Um, one less. If I kill an enemy unit, I can say one less, and that basically means I took down the enemy unit. Um, blank, blank, blank is down. Dot, dot, dot is down. That basically means a team member is down. So right now I can say, for instance, number 3 is down. They can basically say 3 is dead. And since 3 is alive, he'll basically report his status as being alive. So let me see, status, and that's it. Now report status if you are a subordinate unit who is essentially not a leader. Like if I was one of these team members and not the leader of the team, it wouldn't say report status. It would actually say um, uh, it would actually ask for the leader's position is what it would do, and the leader would give his grid coordinates if it's an AI. Number 8, where it says blank 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 is dot 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 is down. As a subordinate unit, as a team member in the group versus a team leader, I cannot have that option. I cannot say someone is down. I have to actually right click on the person's corpse, and that's how I would notify the team leader that we've lost a man. All right, so that is the status menu.